So when I was an undergraduate student, I went to Baylor University. I was really involved as a student leader. I attribute all of that to the mentors that I had that were predominantly women of color or Hispanic or Latina women who really helped me see my potential. And as a first generation student who was really not used to, didn't have any expectations for college, didn't really know what to expect, that mentorship was really valuable. And I didn't really have a plan my senior year. I had other opportunities that fell through, and my mentors said, you should pursue a higher education degree and do what I do. And I didn't realize that was a career path because I was first generation. I didn't know. And so I applied to the program at Baylor University since I was very well connected to the institution and the faculty and was admitted. And I loved my experience there as a graduate student. I worked in housing a few years at Texas State University, but I always wanted to get the PhD. Once I started my master's program, I knew that I wanted to earn my PhD because a lot of the research that I was reading was not about the things I was looking for about Latino students. Like, I did not see students of color as much in the literature as I would have wanted. And so I felt if I got the PhD, I could contribute and make a difference in that way. I could contribute research about students, about experiences that were not in the literature yet. And that was probably my primary motivation, was to give back to the community in the way that I knew how, was through research. I went to a conference last week, and one of the keynote speakers said something that we've always had to pick our battles, but now we have less of a luxury to pick them. In other words, we don't have the luxury of picking battles anymore. We have to fight all the battles that are presented to us. And I think a lot of that is through education. I've always thought of education as a vehicle for people to make a difference. Not that you need an education to do that. I think people are smart without one. But I think for people in power, education matters, right? It's a lot easier for me to move myself or push myself into spaces with a PhD than it would be without one. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing it. I think it's hard because I think most people would say, do what you love and money will follow. That's not necessarily possible for everyone because people still have to pay rent and pay bills, and I get that. I would say find the roses in everything that you do, even if it's something that you don't like to do. For instance, I don't like to do paperwork, but I love working with students, but I know that you have to do paperwork sometimes, and that's okay. That isn't what motivates me to work. It's the students that motivate me to work. And so whatever joy you find in your work to make you want to do it in the morning every day, I think whatever possibility that you have to do that, to definitely do that. And then if one day you have the opportunity to pursue your dreams, then it'll be because you've worked really hard even when you didn't want to, and people see that in you. And so I would encourage people to keep fighting battles even if you're tired, to definitely step back and take care of yourself as you need to, and to never let anyone deter you from your dreams. My work is very much tied to my motivations for my degree, my community work, who I am in my own journey in higher education. The work that I do as a student is very much motivated by my personal life and a deep desire to change structures so that we are more inclusive, particularly towards people of color. But my heart is really with faculty. I love teaching and I love research, and I think representation matters. I was telling folks that in my whole experience from undergrad through master's to doctorate, I've only had 2 Latina professors in my life, right? That's a lot of professors. And for people, how can you see yourself in a role if you don't see yourself in a role? Like, how can you imagine being faculty if you've never had one that looked like you? And I don't want the next generation of students to ever feel like they can't do what they want to do because they don't see themselves in other people. And so that's really what motivates me to be faculty, both to engage in research, to open doors for people like me, but also to be a representation, to be the mirror for students who also say, I want to get a doctorate, even if it's not in education, but at minimum they say, I see somebody who looks like me, she's done it, I can do it too. And I think that a PhD will help me do that at the best universities because I've been trained at the best university.